What up, adventurers? I am dangerously close to being able to actually use this room behind me, but until we can get into there, we are still in this crowded little room trying our best to paint and record and do YouTube shenanigans. Today, we are painting Trapjaw from Masters of the Universe. I'm going to do talking lore track whilst I'm painting in the background, so let's just get into it. Right, hopefully this has worked and I'm in the top corner somewhere, and we are going to talk about Trapjaw. If you grew up in the 1980s like I did, chances are Trapjaw instantly grabbed your attention. A mechanical jaw, robotic arm that could swap weapons in seconds, and one of the most intimidating designs in the entire toy line. As a kid, I thought he was brilliant. He wasn't just another monster working for Skeletor. He genuinely looked dangerous. He looked unpredictable. And perhaps most importantly, he looked like someone who had a story to tell. And, as it turns out, he absolutely did. Over the years, Trapjaw evolved from being little more than a colourful henchman into one of the most tragic and fascinating characters in all of Masters of the Universe. Let's begin where it all began, with the original mini-comics. Trapjaw wasn't even from Eternia. He is described as a psychotic criminal from another dimension. During one of Skeletor's many journeys between dimensions, Trapjaw accidentally found his way back to Eternia. Almost immediately, he demonstrated just how dangerous he was. Rather than joining Skeletor, Trapjaw entered Castle Grayskull itself and somehow managed to seize its incredible mystical powers. For a brief moment, he became one of the greatest threats Eternia had ever faced, and the situation had become so desperate that something actually unimaginable happened. He-Man and Skeletor had to join forces. Together, they united the two halves of the Sword of Power and reclaimed Grayskull's magic before Trapjaw could control it completely. Once defeated, Skeletor recognized Trapjaw's true potentials and recruited him into the Evil Warriors. It was a very simple origin, but it established something extremely important. Trapjaw wasn't simply another follower. He was a powerful enough person to concern both heroes and villains alike. But when film animation adapted Masters of the Universe for television, Trapjaw sadly quickly just became one of Skeletor's most reliable henchmen instead. Unlike Beastman though, who mainly acted through brute force, or Merman, who basically complained when everything went wrong, Trapjaw often approached problems practically. Skeletor even referred to him as his wizard of weapons, and despite not being portrayed as especially intelligent, Trapjaw possessed remarkable engineering skills. He constantly upgraded his own mechanical arm with new attachments depending on the mission ahead. One day it might have been a grappling hook, the next day it was a convenient freeze ray, then somehow a laser cannon. In one episode it became a pile driver, followed by a flamethrower, and sometimes it even shot rockets. Half the fun of watching Trapjaw was wondering what gadget he would actually pull out of his arm next. His mechanical jaw was equally impressive. It could bite through almost anything. Metal, no problem. Stone, who cares? Weapons, nice tasty snack. Practically nothing could withstand those steel teeth. Even stranger, Trapjaw seemingly could consume almost any material. In one story, he even swallows Ethereum itself and temporarily gains the strength that gets him close to that of He-Man. It's easy to forget just how versatile Trapjaw really was. He wasn't simply the cyborg of the Evil Warriors. He was their engineer, their mechanic, their heavy weapons expert, their demolition specialist. Whatever was needed for the mission, Trapjaw usually had an attachment ready. Like many villains in Filmmation, Trapjaw occasionally pursued his own ambitions. He even established his own base in the Sands of Times and formed an alliance with the mysterious Lord Mask. These independent adventures hinted that he wasn't entirely content serving under Skeletor, but unlike evil-lyn, he rarely showed any real desire to overthrow his master. But everything changed in the 2002 reboot, and for many fans, this has actually become Trapjaw's definitive origin. Here we learn the story of a man behind the machine. Before becoming Trapjaw, he was known as Cronus, a blue-skinned outlaw and one of Keldor's earliest followers during the Great Unrest. When Keldor launched his rebellion against the Council of Elders, Cronus fought beside him. Even after Keldor's transformation into Skeletor and the imprisonment behind the Mystic Wall, Cronus remained loyal, at least for a while. Eventually he does become disillusioned. The charismatic leader he followed had become increasingly unstable. Believing Skeletor was no longer fit to lead, Cronus challenged him in a duel. It was a terrible mistake. Skeletor absolutely crushed him. His jaw was shattered beyond repair, his arm destroyed, his body broken. But Skeletor wasn't finished. Instead of allowing Cronus to die, he ordered Triclops to rebuild him. Using advanced technology, Triclops replaced his ruined jaw with steel and transformed his damaged arm into a modular weapons platform. Cronus emerged as something entirely new, the monster Trapjaw. It's one of the darkest origin stories in Masters of the Universe, and Trapjaw owes his very existence to the man who nearly killed him. From that moment onwards, he now feared Skeletor. Yet, at the same time, buried deep within him, he resented Skeletor as well. This mixture of fear, hatred, and dependence made Trapjaw far more interesting than the simple comic book henchman he had once been. Halfway through today's video, I'd love to hear what you think. What version of Trapjaw is your favourite? Do you prefer the mysterious, dimensional criminal that almost took over Grayskull? Do you like the gadget-loving weapons master of Filmmation? The tragic Kronos of the 2002 reboot? Let me know down in the comments. I always enjoy reading everyone's memories, especially those of us who grew up with the characters during the 80s. And if you enjoy these Masters of the Universe lore videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Though it's super annoying to have to break up a video to say this, every comment truly does help the channel, and I do love reading them all and learning what you enjoyed about these cartoons and franchises. Right, let's get back to Trapjaw and learning how he's evolving across these newer versions of the franchise. Next up came Masters of the Universe Revelations, where he and Triclops inherited Snake Mountain after Skeletor's apparent death. Rather than simply continuing Skeletor's legacy, they embraced something entirely different: technology. Under the influence of the mysterious motherboard, Trapjaw became part of a techno-cult that viewed machinery as the future of Eternia. It was a fascinating direction for the character, because after all, Trapjaw had always relied on technology. Now he was actually worshipping it, and in the 2026 live movie, this got pushed even further. Rather than changing attachments manually, which had always been the way, his robotic arm transformed directly into different weapons. Now he could use cannons, heavy artillery, make it a close combat system. Everything flowed naturally from the arm itself. The film also portrayed him as one of Skeletor's genuinely dangerous field commanders. He actually seriously injured men-at-arms during the invasion of Eternos, and later led Skeleton Knights during the assault on Castle Grayskull. Even when facing He-Man himself, Trapjaw never backed down. Looking back over more than 40 years of Masters of the Universe history, Trapjaw remains one of the franchise's greatest character designs. Everything about him tells a story. His broken jaw, the mechanical arm, the interchangeable weapons, and the scars of countless battles. Unlike many cartoon villains, Trapjaw actually looks like someone who has survived a brutal life. Every piece of machinery feels truly earned. Every upgrade tells us something about his past. Whether he's an interdimensional criminal, Kronos, the fallen rebel, or Skeletor's trusted weapons master, Trapjaw has always stood apart from the other evil warriors. He's more than the muscle. He's more than comic relief. He is a born survivor, a warrior who literally rebuilt himself after losing everything. And perhaps that's why Trapjaw has remained one of the most popular Masters of the Universe villains ever created, because behind those steel teeth is one of Eternia's toughest stories. And with that, you should be seeing glamour shots. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed painting them. I've only got three more of the starter set minis left. Let me know down below which figures I should be picking up to round out the groups. I know Beastman's got to be in there, but let me know which ones you want to see, and we'll see if we can make that happen. As always, I truly appreciate you stopping by and spending your time with me, and I'll hope to see you again real soon. Cheers for watching. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and then go watch this one. This one up here. Give it a click. Bye-bye.